enters tonight's start against the White Sox, 3 strikeouts away from 3,000 in his career.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock! Go!
Off and running, welcome in. Wednesday edition of After Further Review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Musso in for Moscona. We got Jacob Beck, we got Paul O'Neill, and we have all of you. And glad you're here and making us a part of your Wednesday, of your 4th of July week. Very much appreciated. Plenty to go through here on today's show as well. I got some more LSU baseball, some LSU football. Really interesting piece from ESPN earlier today, talking about sleepers that I want to get into a little bit later on in the show. And then, look, we talked about it a little bit with Shay on Tuesday. It's commitment day for 2 top LSU targets, and Trenton Henderson and J.J. Bush. Both those guys are set to commit later this evening. So before we get out of here, we'll kind of set the stage for you with those guys, what to expect, which way they're leaning. We'll let you hear what Shay said from yesterday as well. So jam-packed and plenty to get to, but let us begin as we do every single day.
Time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
All right. I want to begin today where we began on Tuesday, and that's with LSU baseball. The baseball portal window is officially closed. It closed at midnight on Tuesday. You might see names continue to pop up in there. LSU or not, just remains to be seen, just because sometimes when you enter late, it takes a few days for it to process and pop up. But that window is closed, and there is no really hang up. The LSU didn't get any extended time, right, for playing late into the season. The window just is what it is. So now that that's closed, and you have 5 in the boat, I want to look at remaining portal needs for LSU baseball as they head into 2026. And there are plenty. And again, a lot of it depends on, kind of a conversation we had yesterday with potential draft decisions and what guys do. But that, I think, would alter certain positions more than just overall what we're looking for here. So to start, let's go to the mound. For me, LSU has to add a starting pitcher out of the transfer portal. And I think that they will. And here's why I say you have to. LSU has a lot of guys coming back in 2026 that you think can step into that role. Kason Evans, William Schmidt, maybe Cooper Williams, maybe a guy like Maverick Rizzi, maybe one of these lefties you've gotten out of the portal. Maybe LSU has designs on turning them into a starter. But with respect to Zach Cowan, who could very well return, what LSU lacks is a proven front-of-the-rotation guy who has done it for multiple years in college baseball at a high level in Power 4 competition. Like I said, with respect to Zach Cowan. Do I think Cowan could fit into LSU's rotation in 2026 if he comes back? Yes, but I would see that more as a number 3. Could Kason Evans turn into that Friday night ace? Absolutely. But he hasn't shown you that over the course of a season. That is something that you lack. That is something that you need. And that is something that Jay Johnson has gone out and got out of the portal virtually every year he's been here. Whether it was Paul Skeens heading into 2023, you could throw Thatcher Hurd in there as well. Although Hurd was injured and coming off. That was a guy who had started his career at UCLA and was a starting pitcher. Skeens had 15 starts at Air Force. He was their Friday night guy for an entire year. Whether it was Luke Holman or Gage Jump the year after that, where Holman, remember, was a starter for Bama the entire season, was forced into that Friday night role and excelled. Jump was kind of in the same boat as Thatcher Hurd, coming from UCLA, being hurt and whatnot. Anthony Ianson a year ago. Anthony Ianson, by the end of his sophomore year at San Diego, had worked his way into their Friday night role, led that team in innings pitched, showed he could withstand it and maintain it over the course of an entire season. And 80-plus innings. That's what you're still missing right now is the proven commodity there. You have plenty of guys that you feel very confident in can step up and take that role, but you lack the proven guy. You had plenty of guys coming into this past season. Cade Anderson was one of them that you thought could take that jump, and he did. But you still went out and got somebody like an Anthony Ianson. You still went out and got somebody like Zach Cowan. LSU still has to go out and get that guy. And I think that they will because, again, Jay Johnson's done it each year he's been at LSU. Next is power bat. And this is really where you look at a guy like Ethan Fry and you wonder about the decision that he's going to have to make with the MLB draft. Because Ethan Fry is a guy who is a true junior. If he decides to come back to LSU, while that would be extremely beneficial to LSU, and I think in some ways extremely beneficial for Ethan Fry to show that he can play a position, he also loses all leverage. And he's never going to be able to maximize his dollar amount in the draft like he would be this year because of that leverage. Even if Ethan Fry does return, which I think selfishly we're all hoping that he does, you still need to go out and add a proven power bat. And what I mean by proven power bat is if you can get somebody who's out there that has shown that they're capable of 18, 20 home runs at the Power 4 level, that's what you're after. Because you went out and you got a lot of guys who hit a lot of home runs mid-major a year ago, and that power didn't just necessarily translate all the way to the SEC. And that's a risk you take. And again, with respect to a guy like Braden Simpson, who I think is a big power bat and will hit home runs for LSU, does that fully translate from High Point over to the SEC? I mean, Danny Dickinson hit 17, 18 home runs at Utah Valley. He ended up with 12 at LSU, which is a really good number. Obviously, Luis Hernandez, those are some huge home runs Hernandez hit. But you just kind of run that risk. We talk about the starting pitching aspect that Jay Johnson has always gone out and found in the portal. Each one of Jay Johnson's teams at LSU, going all the way back to 2022, his first year, each one of them has had one, if not multiple guys who could run 20 home run balls out of the park. Whether it was Dylan Cruz and Braden Jobert in 22, Cruz, I mean, you had everybody in 23, Cruz, White, Jobert was still on that team. Gavin Dugas hit 17. Like, you had a bunch of guys there. White and Jones in 24, and you had Jared Jones this season. Outside of Ethan Fry, the capability for 20 home runs isn't on your team. I don't think. That's my opinion. I think you need a proven power bat at a high level of college baseball. Because in the end, it didn't matter because Jay Johnson's a great coach and he understands how to use his roster. So in the end, it didn't matter. You were still a very good offensive team capable of winning a national championship, which you did. But at times in 2025, lacking that power threat hurt you. At times, Jared Jones was your only power threat. And that hurt you. You need power in this league because in the SEC, it's built on power. The ballparks are smaller. The games tend to be a little bit more high scoring. And being able to have that helps. And again, you have guys who you look, okay, can a guy like Jake Brown get you 14 homers in 2026? Maybe. But where's the guy that's going to consistently run it out there for you? You don't have that proven guy yet. Unless, you know the power's in there for a guy like Ethan Fry, but you have to see what his decision. And even if he comes back, I think you need another one anyway. The other position just in general is outfield. One of the things LSU had a plethora of heading into 2025 was outfield depth, and that's out the window now. Ashton Larson is gone. Mick Paul is gone. I'm expecting Chris Stanfield to sign professional. Josh Pearson is gone. Even if Ethan Fry comes back, looks like he'd slide into first base. Yes, you have Curiel and Jake Brown, and that's an awesome start. But above all else, yes, you need another guy out there, but you need depth. Because what once was a big part of it isn't as much. And you have a few outfielders in your high school signing class, and if they make it to campus, that's great, and that can go with depth. And maybe, look, one of them earns the job as a freshman. Jay Johnson has shown that he will play freshman. Whether it's Curiel and Case and Evans, whether it was Milam, Larson, and Brown, like he has shown that he will play freshman and that they will have success for his team and at a high level. But the depth is what you're really, really lacking there. And I think you could really find some quality depth there in the transfer portal if you're LSU. And then, man, first base would be interesting depending on what Fry decides to do. And your infield depth took a big hit as well. You know, you have Reeves most likely returning, Milam there as well. You think Simpson can hopefully slide in at third. Seth Dardar's there to play one of the middle infield spots also. He's even got some experience at first base. But a couple more bodies wouldn't help because there is no more Michael Braswell. There is no more Danny Dickinson. There is no more David Hogg. There is no more Mikey Ryan. And when you look at your signing class, your top prospects are most likely infielders. A guy like Quentin Young, right? So a little bit of depth there. They're far from done. But if I had to go first and foremost, starting pitcher, power bat, outfield. Like that's what I'm really, really focused in on now for LSU in the transfer portal. Your time to enter the portal is past. That is closed. But of course, you can decide where you're going to play your college baseball from now until the start of the semester, right? So they're far from done. And those are the areas that I really highlight first and foremost for LSU as they continue through this portal cycle. All right, we're going to grab a break, come back on the other side. I found at ESPN what I think to be, and yes, I know it's July, but the most balanced and honest mock draft yet. And it had one surprise from LSU in it that I really want to dive into. So we'll do that next here on AFR.
After further review.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, two beautiful hotel properties in Baton Rouge, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. And when it comes to hosting your event, both the Watermark and the Renaissance are perfect. The Watermark is a gorgeous, elegant spot in downtown Baton Rouge. That wedding reception, that smaller gathering, that meeting space, they can do it. They've kept so much of the history and tradition of that iconic building while modernizing it. The Gregory is a great restaurant inside of the Watermark as well. And then, of course, the Renaissance Hotel. Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. It's more modern. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous hotel property at the Renaissance Hotel where they have meeting space that can accommodate up to 500 people, 7,000 square foot of meeting space, perfectly located right off of Bluebonnet and I-10. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels in Baton Rouge.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. You know, when we talk about Relief Windows every day, I always say windows, doors, siding. And now shutters as well. They do your indoor shutters. Same thing as the windows. Custom made, measured to fit your windows, custom fit for your windows, lifetime warranty on your windows, your shutters. But Brandon, you often hear say their #1 product is customer satisfaction. And that's not just a catchy line. That's not a cliche phrase. Have an experience with Relief Windows and you'll understand. They go to the ends of the earth to make sure their customers are thrilled with the work they do. As a matter of fact, Relief Windows never takes a dollar from you. You will not, no deposit, no down payment. They take all the risk. They will not take a dollar until you're thrilled with the work they do. Who else does that? Only Relief Windows. Check them out online at ReliefWindows.com.
Matt Miller over at ESPN, he's an NFL draft analyst, and he's just an absolute sicko because he's sitting here releasing way too early mock drafts in July. Take a break, Matt. Let's calm down there. But I clicked on it earlier because, I mean, what the hey? And I actually found it very intriguing for a couple of different reasons. What he did with the quarterback class, because that's obviously what everyone's talking about with the 2026 draft class. And anytime you look at a mock draft right now, from an LSU perspective, you're looking for two things. Number one, where's Garrett Nussmeier? And number two, who are the other Tigers that are in this in the running to potentially play themselves into a first-round pick? And you've seen a lot of different guys potentially in that category. And I mean, I was kind of looking for like the usual suspects that you would expect, right? A Harold Perkins, maybe Nick Anderson. And it wasn't either of those guys. Matt Miller at 22 overall, the surprise was Patrick Payton from LSU going to Tampa. which please no. Like, again, the LSU guys in the NFC South not playing for New Orleans, no. But Peyton's an interesting guy because of his athleticism mainly. And he's probably a guy that we really should think of more in terms of first-round talent because of the measurables, because of the speed that he possesses off the edge. It's elite. And then, I mean, you look at the guy, and he's 6'5", 255. At that size, to have the elite speed that he does off the edge is incredible. You look at the production, and while, you know what? It wasn't a great year for him at Florida State in 2024, but let's be honest, it wasn't a great year for anybody at Florida State in 2024. They won 2 games. They were horrible. When you look at his 4 years and you see 40 games and 16 sacks and over 31 career TFLs, you realize that, yeah, sure, that's in there. You look at Patrick Payton and say, okay, yeah, that's a guy who's going to be a starter at LSU. And with the talent, the speed, and everything that he possesses, if he has a year similar to what he had maybe in the middle there for Florida State, that's a guy that could absolutely play himself into the first round. And that's a really interesting conversation because there's a lot of guys for LSU in that realm. Like, you could be looking at one of those years where LSU lands 3 or more first rounders. Obviously, in 2020, you had the 5 first-round picks. In 2023, you had the 3 first-round picks. They were all off the offense: Daniels, Neighbors, and and Thomas. Excuse me. But I mean, we've seen Nick Anderson pop up in mock drafts like this in a first round way too early. It's already telling me he's on analysts' radar. Nick Anderson goes out there, has a 1,000-plus yard receiving season for LSU, catches 8-9 touchdowns. Could he play his way into the back end and give you multiple there? Sure. We just went through Patrick Payton and how much sense that potentially makes for LSU as a guy who could find his way there. And then, oh, by the way, there's Harold Perkins, who, if Harold Perkins goes out there, stays healthy, and is productive at the Stars, shows that that is his position, that he can play, that he can impact the game in so many multiple different ways. With the athleticism and his measurables and just all of his tools on the field that he has, he's going to be a first-round pick. From the moment Harold Perkins stepped foot on the campus at LSU, he was thought to be a potential and future first-round pick. You're going to tell me that guy can't just immediately play himself back in there? Of course he can. That right there could potentially be 4 for you, 2 on each side of the ball. Potentially. I'm not sitting here telling you that LSU's going to have 4 first-round picks. But, I mean, you look at it and you go, okay. I mean, it's the talent for it's there. Whereas a year ago is the cautionary tale. The talent for it was there a year ago. I can remember going into the football season, sitting here, filling in for Matt, and talking about it potentially being the first year in LSU history where they have back-to-back years of multiple first-round draft picks. Because you looked at Will Campbell. You looked at the potential for Emory Jones to play his way into the back end of the first round. You had a guy like Harold Perkins. Ultimately, you had some injuries. Some questions about position. You end up with just Will Campbell. That happens more often than not. But, I mean, you look at just those 4 that we talked about, that's not even really mentioning a guy like Whit Weeks. I mean, could Whit Weeks do it? Sure. He's super athletic. He's a tackling machine. He can run sideline to sideline. He should be up for plenty national awards. He's already landing on All-American lists. Could he play his way into the back end? Sure. I think that's going to be fascinating to watch. And again, seeing it be Patrick Payton in this really sparked that. It's like, man, he's like the 3rd different guy that you've seen as the 2nd LSU Tiger in all these way too early mock drafts. It really hones in the talent that LSU does have on this team. Like, it really puts that into focus. You can hear Brian Kelly say it's the most talented team he's ever had. You can hear Garrett Nussmeier echo that. It's another thing to see multiple way too early mock drafts and see multiple different guys at different positions be the second LSU Tiger taken in the first round behind Garrett Nussmeier. I think the hope for all of us is that talent all comes to fruition. LSU does end up with 3 or 4 first-round draft picks, and hopefully they're hoisting some type of trophy in the postseason. That would be a tremendous success for this team. Now, the other thing that I did find interesting about Matt Miller's mock draft, and as I teased it kind of going to break, I said I thought it was really the most honest and balanced mock draft that I've seen so far, 2 months out from college football season. And it has to do with the quarterbacks. All you've heard about, going back to prior to this draft, is the crop of quarterbacks that you have in 2026. And it's Klubnik, and it's Nuss, and it's Drew Alar, Lenoris Sellers, Carson Beck. If Arch decides to come out, which it doesn't look like he's going to do, but if he does, Arch Manning. You know how many quarterbacks Matt Miller had going in the top 10 of this mock draft? You'd probably say 3, 4. And you'd be wrong. 1. And it was Cade Klubnik, number 1 overall. The next quarterback did not come off the board until pick 11. And that was Garrett Nussmeier to the Indianapolis Colts. Now, a lot of this also can have to do with his projected draft order and things of that, in which teams would actually need quarterback and whatnot. I mean, for instance, he has the Saints picking 5th in this mock draft. The Saints could absolutely be in the market for quarterback again come draft time. Has the Jets picking 4th. Let's say Justin Fields doesn't really pan out. I mean, the Jets could absolutely be back in the market, right? So that does matter. But Klubnik at 1, Nussmeier at 11. The next one, Lenoris Sellers at 16 to the Steelers. And I feel like that's finally some type of voice of reason. Far too often have you seen Lenoris Sellers projected to be a top 5 pick. And you know what? Maybe he will be. But right now, in 2 months away from the season, you kind of have to see the guy throw the ball more consistently and more accurately over the course of an entire season. Otherwise, it's hard to escape comparisons to a guy like Anthony Richardson. Freak athlete. Maybe not the best all-around quarterback. And then the one for me that just really, that I would praise Matt Miller for the most is having Drew Alar at 27 to the Rams. Because there have been mock drafts way early in the process that have Drew Alar at number 1, and there is just no reason you can convince me that that's plausible at this point from what you've seen from him in his career at Penn State. I get all the measurables. I understand. The kid's got a great arm, huge arm, right? He's got the size. He's got everything that you want. He's got plenty of college experience, so that's great. How many times have you seen that guy get taken high without any type of production, meaningful, real production in moments in college?
He feels like Sam Darnold to me a little bit.
Sam Darnold. How about Zach Wilson?
Yeah.
Like, I think Drew Alar is a very talented player. I don't think he's proven really anything in his years in Penn State. He did not complete a pass to a wide receiver in that last playoff game against Notre Dame. What does he have coming back? Like, what'd they go get at receiver? You just lost the best tight end in the country to the draft. Outside of the measurables and that, I don't understand the hype around him. I really don't. Like, for me, it's like Sam Darnold's a great comp there, Beck, because what did Sam Darnold ever do on the field in college? Like, that has to matter to an extent. It's kind of the same argument with a guy like Lenora Sellers. You know what's also interesting about this? There's no Carson Beck. You've seen Carson Beck still get picked or mocked in first rounds. He's not there. I was looking at something on Pro Football Focus earlier today. They were doing their top 50 players, returning players in college football. They had Carson Beck ahead of both Drew Allar and Garrett Nussmeier. But there's no Carson Beck in this mock draft. I think it's real easy when you're putting these things together at this point in the year to just latch on to this is a great quarterback class and have them all go in the top 10. And that's one thing I really liked about this from Matt Miller. I thought it was very balanced and well thought out as to where these guys could and should go. He still had 4 in the first round. That's fine. You probably will have 4 first-round quarterbacks take. Like, Lenore Sellers probably going to be a first-round draft pick. Drew Allar is probably going to be a first-round draft pick. But I think it's very easy to look at this and say, you know what? There's teams that could splurge for those guys in the top 5 and end up regretting it because it happens every year. It happens every year. And we're sitting here talking about this in July, and those guys will have their time to go prove it. And you know what? Maybe Drew Allar is awesome, throws for 3,700 yards, and Penn State wins a national championship. Great. But you just haven't really seen that. And I do think there will be obviously more than one quarterback taken in the top 10. For everything we kind of just talked about with teams who, yes, have their quarterback now, but could very well faceplant still and end up needing a quarterback for a second year in a row. The New Orleans Saints, as we said, that could very well be the team that does that. All right, we're going to grab a break. Come back on the other side. We'll go around the SEC in honor for a couple more LSU baseball players postseason as well. We'll get into that next here on AFR.
After further review.
Brought to you by Glow Resources. If you are a business owner, if you're an HR manager, a VP, an ops manager, if you're the person in charge of hiring at your job, at your place of business, and you're having trouble finding the right people, you need Glow Resources. Now, I want to remind you, Glow Resources, they're exceptional when it comes to skilled blue-collar workers and also white-collar divisions. Remember, Glow Resources has a full professional placement division. So we're talking about office administrators, executive-level assistants, assistant controllers, plant managers, scheduling assistants, basically any type of office job. Accounting, HR, marketing, managerial, supervisor roles. If you're having trouble finding those people and sometimes hard to fill roles, Glow Resources specialize. They recruit nationwide. For example, they had a Baton Rouge company that was looking for an engineer. They found the employee in Florida to work the job in California. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online today. glowresources.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
At Luba Workers' Comp, Our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
AFR is brought to you by Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens, commercial or residential. As a matter of fact, Parish Restoration, I love the process, by the way. If you go to the website at parishrestoration.com, you can see videos of their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. So you see exactly what it looks like. Very cool. But they have fogged over at Parish Restoration. They fogged one of the largest buildings in the entire state of Louisiana. So it doesn't matter if it's your office building, your church, whatever it may be, school, or your home. They can even fog your car. Maybe your car has a weird odor, musty smell. Maybe you bought a used car from a smoker and you can't get that smoky smell out. This will do it. They'll come while you're at work, fog it. By the time you're done with work for the day, boom, you're back in a clean smelling, fresh smelling vehicle. It's Parish Restoration. Learn more at parishrestoration.com. parishrestoration.com. Do business with someone you know. parishrestoration.com.
Great honor, the latest in a long line for LSU freshmen Kason Evans and Derek Curiel. They were named first-team freshman All-Americans by D1 Baseball. I mean, it's no surprise, but it's just worth mentioning every single time. I mean, they're going to be, if they aren't already. I haven't seen every All-American list that have come out, but I mean, Kason Evans and Derek Curiel will be unanimous freshman All-Americans nationally, and they should be. For what it's worth, Derek Curiel has also even garnered second-team All-America status so far this season. I believe that was from D1 Baseball. I'm actually surprised that both of them have not gotten that honor a little bit more. Because y'all, what Kason Evans did for LSU out of the bullpen this year, and even in spot starts, it's just. I think the biggest compliment you could pay both of those guys is you would shudder to think what LSU's team would have been without both of them. And we kind of talked about it in the open of the show when we were looking at remaining portal needs and whatnot. Jay has shown that he will play freshmen, that he is not afraid to do that, and that they will have success, whether it be Stephen Milam, Ashton Larson, Jake Brown in 24. And a lot of that was out of necessity, I understand, but look at the success those guys had. Curiel, Evans. I mean, you can really go back to each year. You saw them pay Paxton Kling a lot. It didn't work out over his freshman year, but you saw him out there plenty. But what Kason Evans and Derek Curiel meant to this team, I think it's rare that you see that from freshmen. And that's why these honors are so just well-deserved. I mean, a guy like Kason Evans contributed 52 2/3 innings. That was fourth on LSU's team. And he had 3 starts. He led you in saves. And had a 5-1 record. It's why everyone's so excited about that going forward. You look at that start against Tennessee. What a massive moment in LSU season that was. And you had to have that weekend series. And that was a rubber game. It was his first career start, and he was awesome. The restart against UCLA in the College World Series. He was awesome. And just the countless big moments out of the bullpen. The first 2 that really come to mind for me are against Mississippi State in the regular season in that 2-1 game. He was nails, escaped a bases-loaded jam in the 7th. It was the 7th or the 8th. And then 2 weeks prior to that against Missouri was awesome out of the bullpen and escaped the bases-loaded jam late in that game that you ended up winning by 1 run. He was great in extended relief against Texas. He was just huge all year. And Derek Curiel, it's just rare that you see a freshman come in and hit leadoff all year, virtually, and do it at the level. Be the leading hitter on the team. Be third on the team in RBI. Damn near have more walks than strikeouts. And he scuffled for all of 4 weeks, 3 weeks. But he's a good enough hitter to make those adjustments. The future is just so bright for those 2. I mean, Curiel, you're going to have for 1 more year. He's going to be a draft-eligible sophomore. And if he has anything close to the year that he had, he's going to be a top 10 pick in next year's draft. But you just value what you have with him. Casey Evans, I mean, look, that's a guy you should have for 3 years. So, I mean, the way they burst onto the scene, huge. And, I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find 2 freshmen that contributed more to their team's success across the country than those 2 guys did for LSU. And it's just the latest in a long line of the freshman All-American honor. So congratulations to Casey Evans and to Derek Curiel, first-team freshman All-Americans from D1 baseball. That was dropped down earlier today. All right, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Tide landed 5-star receiver Cedarian Morgan on Wednesday. He is out of the state of Alabama. Chose the Tide over other finalists, Auburn, Florida, Colorado, and Georgia. Took officials to all of those schools as well. 6'4", 210 pounds, the number 1 player in the state of Alabama, the number 2 wide receiver in the country, the 10th commit in 10 days for Kalen DeBoer and the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Texas A&M!
Texas A&M lands a commitment from 4-star linebacker DeQuivis Beck. He's out of Carthage, so Texas guy. Announced it on social media. 6'1", 205 pounds. Chose the Aggies over Oklahoma, Texas, Arizona State, and SMU. He is in the composite rankings, the number 196 prospect overall, the number 11 linebacker in the 2026 class. He heads to Aggie Land.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Kentucky pulls off a big flip for Mark Stoops. Denarius Gray, 6'2", 178-pound wide receiver, flipped his commitment from Auburn to Kentucky. He had been committed to Hugh Freeze and the Tigers since January of 2024. For what it's worth, he also took visits to Washington, NC State, and Ole Miss. Gray is the number 44 wide receiver in the composite rankings. Once destined for the Plains, he now heads to Lexington.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
And Shane Beamer and the Gamecocks reel in 4-star defensive tackle Noah Clark. Clark held offers from more than 40 schools. Silently committed to the Gamecocks back on July 23rd, then made his decision public here on Wednesday. His other finalists were NC State, Virginia, and Virginia Tech, but he'll go to the Gamecocks. Number 34 defensive lineman in the country in the composite is Noah Clark, the latest get for Shane Beamer and the South Carolina Gamecocks. All right, we're going to grab a break, come back on the other side of that break, and there's some transfer portal news. There is a new transfer portal window that is set to open in 5 days. We'll tell you everything you need to know about that as we close out hour number 1 of AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. YourGoodwood.com. Stay here for more.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, do what injured people in Louisiana have done for more than 30 years. Call Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. 888-8888. It's all eights. 888-8888. I don't even need to give you the area code because no matter where you are in the state, it doesn't matter. Just dial 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordon does an awesome job, man. He's a great person. They've been so invested in our communities with all the charitable and service work that they do. They give back into the communities that they represent, no matter what time of year. If it's the bike giveaway for kids around Christmas time, if it's the laptop giveaway around back to school time, if it's the charitable work they do during October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, they're always involved in the community. We tell you all the time, of course, about the G team and what Gordon's done with NIL and the opportunities that he's afforded student athletes. Just a great, great community partner. If you've been injured, you need representation, go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Always a pleasure to tell you about our friends at the Williamson Eye Center. Check them out online at williamsoneye.com. They've got locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. On the Baton Rouge General Campus, you turn off a Bluebonnet onto Picardy, you make that right. And then right there at the stop sign, the building on the right, the first 2 floors, that's the Williamson Eye Center. State-of-the-art dry eye center, and it's full service. Of course, they have their state-of-the-art surgery center there where you can have your LASIK or whatever surgical procedure you're having. But they have your standard annual eye exam as well at the Williamson Eye Center. Learn more at williamsoneye.com. The thing I tell you every day is take the advice that I was given and change your life. To give yourself the gift of sight is absolutely incredible. If you're someone like me who spent your life with contacts or glasses, there is a way to be done with it forever. WilliamsonEYE.com. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson for that free consultation. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com for the Williamson Eye Center.
All right, there's another transfer portal window to bring to everybody's attention. I know that's just music to everybody's ears. But this has to do with the House settlement, and big credit to Ross Dellinger, of course, over there at Yahoo Sports. He was on top of this right around noon today and really did some great reporting and gave detailed explanation on something that can be certainly pretty confusing. So this is a new one-time transfer portal window. It will open July 7th and go through August the 5th. So it opens in 5 days. It is for designated student athletes only. This was the revision to the House settlement that the judge wanted to protect those athletes who were grandfathered in. With all the new roster limits and whatnot, that she wanted the athletes to be protected so they had a spot somewhere. So how this would work, or first, what is a DSA, a designated student athlete? It is an athlete that, one, would have been removed from the school's 25-26 roster due to the new limits. 2, was an eligible member of the team a season ago. And for what it's worth, what does that mean, eligible? Every athlete who is eligible for practice or competition is deemed eligible. And 3, was recruited and assured by a school of a roster spot in 2025-2026. Now, the kicker to this is an athlete does not get to choose if they are a designated student athlete. That is up entirely to the university's discretion. Now, schools have said they will act in good faith, as they 100% should. This is new and, difficult for everybody. But what's going to be most interesting is which of these athletes schools tend to or do that with. And I think you're going to see this across all sports. You're going to see this in some terms with football. Maybe not at the Power 4 level, but at lower levels. You'll definitely see this in the Olympic sports. You'll definitely see this in basketball. You'll see this in baseball. And I think baseball is a great example to give because it's what we're talking about mainly right now because the portal's fast and furious in college baseball at the current moment, but it's also the roster limit we're all most aware of right now of having to go from 40 to 34. Yeah, it's only 6 spots. That's a lot of spots when you consider everyone who moves in and out. We talked about that a little bit yesterday by kind of trying to address LSU's numbers. The other problem with this, though, is it's just going to flood the transfer portal, and are these kids actually going to end up having a spot? The athletes, Ross notes, the athletes put on the DSA list, this kind of answers that second question of will they actually have a spot, are exempt from roster limits at their current school and are exempt from roster limits at their new school should they transfer. So it should guarantee these DSA athletes, these DSAs, a spot wherever they end up. But it's another new portal window. The timing of this is obviously very interesting as well because it's July 7th through August 5th, which is really running up on the start of a semester. But it's just the latest in how the world of the NCAA turns these days. And this is the concession that had to be made for Judge Wilkin to push forth the House settlement, and now it'll go into effect on July 7th. Stay tuned. There'll be plenty of athletes jumping in the portal. All right, we're going to grab a break. Come back on the other side. SportsCenter, national headlines. When we get back, talk about some MLB draft, where LSU guys fall, and some signees. That's next.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com, SouthPointVW.com. One of the things that's really worth stressing when I tell you all the time about why I love driving a Volkswagen. Remember, at South Point Volkswagen, their vehicles are manufactured right here in the US of A. So you get the great German engineering, safety features, performance, all of it, without the cost and the benefit of supporting American jobs. But even more importantly right now, as people talk about tariffs and rising costs and all that stuff, these vehicles are manufactured in the US of A, so you don't even have to worry about the tariffs and all that conversation. So another benefit of shopping at South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, and they're awesome people as well. Volkswagen, so much it's a culture, it's a vibe, it's fun to drive, and they're fun to deal with as well. Airline just north of Highland, South Point Volkswagen.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Knicks' lengthy process to find their new head coach is over. According to ESPN's Shams Charania, 1 month after firing Tom Thibodeau, New York's expected to hire Mike Brown, a 2-time NBA Coach of the Year and 4-time NBA champion as an assistant, as their new coach. Big expectations for Brown and the Knicks, explains ESPN NBA senior writer Andre Snellings.
In order for this to be a success, at the very least in the near future, Mike Brown has to take them past the conference finals. Because the conference finals was bad enough to get Tibbs fired. So he has to, get to an NBA final. But I think there's a path where that could happen as soon as this year. And in that sense, it could work out for the Knicks.
Andre Snelling's on Joe and Q. Grizzlies all-star big man Jaren Jackson Jr. is recovering from surgery for a turf toe injury. He'll be reevaluated in about 12 weeks. Dodgers lefty Clayton Kershaw poised to make history tonight versus the White Sox. Needs just 3 strikeouts to become the 20th pitcher in Major League Baseball history to reach 3,000 strikeouts. The 3-time Cy Young Award winner will be only the 3rd to accomplish the feat wearing just one uniform, along with Walter Johnson and Bob Gibson.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Off and running hour number 2 after further review here on a Wednesday, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Musso in for Moscona. We got Jacob Beck. We got Paul O'Neill. We got all of you along for the ride as well. 1 hour in the books, 2 more to go, and plenty more to talk about, man. We're going to get in some MLB draft talk here momentarily. ESPN earlier today had their multiple of their contributors put together a one piece about sleepers for each college football team. I have some thoughts on the one they gave for LSU. I actually just really disagree with it. Are the Saints headed for an international game? Have some thoughts there. And, of course, still to come, about 2 hours or so from now, 2 big announcements potentially for LSU football and the recruiting trail. We'll set the stage for that for you as we get out of before we get out of here as well. So, again, glad to have you along for the ride. The Major League Baseball draft, that gets underway on Sunday, July 13th. So we are right about 2 weeks away, maybe a little bit inside of that. It'll be held in Atlanta. It's funny. It's going to coincide right with SEC Media Days yet again, which is interesting. And we'll have plenty of draft conversation next week on the show as we lead up to it. And probably get a couple analysts on and let them know and go more in depth on a bunch of draft decisions that LSU guys have. But what I really wanted to do is kind of run through this. And this was an interesting mock draft that ESPN put together for Major League because it wasn't the same as just, okay, here's Kylie McDaniel's mock draft. Jeff Passan was involved in this one, as well as David Schoenfield was involved in this one as well. They each kind of made Kylie McDaniel made the picks for the NL East and the AL East. Schoenfield made the picks for the 2 Central divisions, and Passan took the Western divisions, the AL West and the NL West. So it was interesting. They also had trades in here, which was interesting too. But let's not bury the lead. With the number 1 pick in the draft, Kylie McDaniel, in charge of the Washington Nationals, selects LSU lefty Cade Anderson. And this is something you're seeing more and more and more. You're seeing Cade Anderson even be listed as the top prospect in the draft in some circles. And it's kind of starting to feel like it's going to become more and more of a certainty. And this would mark history for LSU. It would be very obviously the first time ever that LSU has had the number 1 pick in the draft 2 out of 3 years. Obviously, Paul Skeens back in 2023. Cade Anderson back in, and that would be that in 2025. That'd be a really cool piece of history that Jay Johnson could tout out for his program, in recruiting circles. But it would also just continue an incredible run for LSU in the top 5 in the draft. But what's more is, and we'll have plenty of time to really look at this if and when this does come to fruition. But just the season that Cade Anderson had and how he was able to vault himself and what he really came from as a freshman. And what he was able to do on the biggest stages and pace LSU to a national championship. Cade Anderson as a freshman ended up with a really nice season overall. I mean, you look at it and, I ended up way down on the stat page there that I didn't want to be on. Anyway, ended up with a 3.99 ERA, made 18 appearances, 9 starts. Like, all that was really good. But we know what it was. It was those SEC statistics in SEC only play where Anderson made 5 appearances and had an ERA of 27. And he just got smashed. SEC opponents in Anderson's freshman year hit 600 off of him. He gave up 12 hits in 3 1/3 innings. Then you fast forward to 2025. And in a draft year, he goes from a 27 ERA in conference only to a 3.96. He goes from opponents batting average against 600 to 230. And it was the spots that he showed himself to be a true ace. It's one thing for him to make that type of jump in his draft year, which is incredible. But I think the spot that you really saw it first was against Texas. Remember how, now we all feel foolish, but remember the narrative that was out there the first couple weeks for Cade Anderson about his stamina and, could he get deep in games? Well, you go on the road to Texas. He's facing Jared Spencer, another highly thought of, another highly touted left-handed arm. And it was the first time Cade Anderson went out there and just absolutely outdueled the other team's best. He was awesome that night against the Texas Longhorns. Then he did the same thing against Pico Khan. And then when you went to Oklahoma, and he's facing Kyson Witherspoon, who was going to be a top 15 pick and still will be, by the way, for what it's worth, in this draft. Kyson Witherspoon, you find him. I had it earlier. Is projected 9th overall. And Anderson goes on the road and outduels him, throws a complete game shutout. Wins the game. LSU wins the game. Anderson pitches against Liam Doyle, who in this mock draft is projected 2nd. And then, by the way, on the biggest stage the sport has to offer, goes complete game shutout in game 1 of the College World Series Finals with all eyes on him. That's how you move up draft boards. But it's the work he put in to get to that point, right? In the weight room with Nate Yeske. Refining that slider, which just made all the world of difference. Getting more consistent with the velo on the fastball. And what you see is what everyone says. The guy who's the best, to quote Kylie McDaniel, the best combination of potential and proximity to the big leagues. And to be able to take that jump and do it all in your draft year, that's special. And it was a special season from Cade Anderson. And, man, I really, really hope the Nationals don't overthink it and they do take him number 1 overall. And, look, Washington's had great success with players from LSU, pitchers from LSU even. Look at Cole Henry right now, doing big things for them out of the bullpen. Cade Anderson could be next in that line. There was no other LSU player selected in the first round. This draft was the top 40 picks. But there were a couple of signees. They all came outside of the first round in more of the comp round look. The comp round area. One of them was Jaden Foskey, who is listed in high school as a shortstop. They actually haven't been drafted as an outfielder. So just great mix there of athleticism. I think when you look at this, he might be the one that you go, he's probably gone. Because LSU's recruiting classes, we've kind of talked about, they don't have like that one Robbie Snelling, Connor Griffin, Dylan Cruz. Now you got Dylan Cruz to campus, but William Schmidt. Like, you don't have that guy who's like a top 3 player in the country that you just know is most likely out the door. Quentin Young's your highest ranked recruit. He was actually mocked 1 pick later at 38 overall to the Mets. That's a guy who could play shortstop or third base. He's a legitimate power threat at the combine, at the MLB combine. He hit a ball 115 and then 5 more harder than 110 and 4 in excess of 420 feet. Like, that's a legitimate power bat. The thing with him is the swing and miss is really bad. I mean, Kylie McDaniel wrote here, quote, his summer contact rate was awful. Like, could that potentially get him to campus? Maybe. But those are the only 2 signees that you've seen in the top 40. So LSU's got a big class, 18 guys. You're not going to bring all 18 to campus because, for one, you're not going to have enough roster spots, but you're also going to have some turnover in the draft. But you're sitting pretty to bring a pretty good crop in once again. LSU, again, with the number 1 recruiting class in the nation. But man, Cade Anderson's the story. And Cade Anderson will be the story of the draft. And you'll see Anthony Ianson shortly after that. Like, Anthony Ianson, to me, is going to go in the top 50. Like, he's going to go in the top 50 of this draft. Chase Shores will follow not far behind in the top 5 rounds. Jacob Myers will follow not far behind in the top 5 rounds. And Jared Jones and Danny Dickinson will be there as well, probably in the top 5 rounds. But the jump that Cade Anderson made, if he ends up being the number 1 overall pick in the draft, that's going to really, really help put it into perspective, the hard work they paid off for that kid in a monumental year for him and for the LSU program. So here's to hoping that happens. Again, we'll have plenty more draft coverage as we near the NFL draft, the MLB draft next week here on AFR. Let's grab a break. We'll come back on the other side. LSU sleeper for 2025. ESPN has their opinion. I have mine. I'll give it to you next here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics. ActionIndinc.com. That's where you find them online. You can find them on LinkedIn as well. And one of the things that I tell you often about Action Industries that I really respect the most is Action Industries, they know who they are as a business. They've been around since 1982. So in 42 years, they've really developed a reputation among the petrochemical and refinery markets. And so when it comes to those contractors, these industrial and commercial contractors, like, their safety record is exemplary. The work that they do is exceptional, which is why they thrive on repeat business. Well, you don't keep getting hired for 42 years if you're not doing great work. That's Action Industries. But also they know who they are. There's some giant companies that do these mega projects, and they're not going to bid on a $200 million project. But if you have a 100-man job, that's their sweet spot. They're perfect for that. You need to get to know Action Industries. ActionIndinc.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
AFR is brought to you by First South Farm Credit. You know where to start. Your first call, your first visit, your first option when it comes to buying land in Louisiana is First South Farm Credit. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be land in Louisiana because First South Farm Credit can help you buy land in any of the contiguous 48. And they've got more than 40 branches in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So if you're right here in the Southeast, there's First South Farm Credit locations all near you. But remember, like, for example, let's say a lot of our audience in New Orleans, of course. You're living in New Orleans, maybe you're starting to build a family, grow a family. You want to move to the North Shore like a lot of people do. You want to buy the 100 acres in Tangipahoa. You can. And First South Farm Credit can help because they have an office in Amite. So walk in there. You can do business with someone who talks like you, lives where you live, and help you buy land wherever you want to buy land in the contiguous 48. It's First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call, your first option should be First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com.
You know, certain topics are just peak football offseason topics. And then there's even others that are peak college football offseason topics. And one of those is this team's sleeper. I saw it at ESPN today. Sleeper players for college football's top 25 teams in 2025. And while a lot of it is just off-season drivel, I said, you know what? I'll bite. Who do you have for LSU? And I'm glad I did, because I disagree. In this piece, ESPN gathered a bunch of their contributors, and they all contributed guys for different teams. For LSU, it was Harry Lyles Jr., and his sleeper for LSU this year, a potential breakout guy, right, under-the-radar player, is Berrien Brown, the wide receiver transfer from Kentucky. And while I look at Berrien Brown and I could say that guy can absolutely come into LSU in 2025, have a big role, contribute greatly, is it really breakout, though? Keep in mind, Berrien Brown already in his career at Kentucky in three years had two really productive seasons. What happened was his production dropped in 2024 because of changes on offense. And he's been awesome in the return game. He was honorable mention All-American kickoff returner. He was already the first team All-SEC return specialist as a junior, and second team All-SEC all-purpose. And again, 2024 is when his numbers dropped. But if you go back for Berrien Brown and you look at his freshman year at Kentucky when he was catching passes when he was catching passes from Will Levis, he caught 50 balls for 628 yards, scored 4 touchdowns. Like, he was awesome. Levis leaves, but then Liam Cohen returns to Kentucky as the offensive coordinator, and his numbers were almost identical under Cohen calling plays. Who's an NFL head coach now. 43 receptions, 539 yards, 4 touchdowns. It was after there was no Levis and no Liam Cohen that you saw him only catch 30 balls for 360 yards, and you saw the numbers dip, and he pieced out for the portal. Barian Brown has already proven that he can be a very productive player in the SEC. And I think he can have a great season for LSU and will contribute in the receiving game and in the return game. But the reason I hesitate to call him a sleeper, the reason I hesitate to call him the breakout isn't because of what he did at Kentucky. It's because of what LSU has in the receiver room. Like, there is just no shortage. Listen to Joe Sloan back in the spring when he met with reporters and he talked about LSU's wide receiver room.
I mean, from the kind of football that Chris Hilton's playing to what Aaron's doing. I mean, this time last year, raise your hand if you said Aaron was going to be probably one of our leading receivers. Okay, good. I didn't think so, right? Okay, right. And just the way he's attacked this offseason, I couldn't be more fired up. And then to Zay and how the way he's playing. And Kyle Parker, who's, even though he had not able to go full speed, is out there attacking it every day. And then the additions, right? From Fad to Barion to Nick, the different guys that are moving through with some of our young guys. I don't think it's about any one guy. Really, it's about the core of receivers, and I think that's the thing that makes it exciting, because we know we're going to get into the season, and for the type of goals we have as a football team and as an offense, we're going to need the guys to play at elite level, and it can't just be one or two. It's got to be as a unit.
You can listen to that and you can say, oh, it's coach speak. And sure, some of it might be. But I mean, y'all, Nick Anderson was brought in here to potentially be the number one, like your number one. Like, that's the type of caliber receiver they think he can be. A guy who could potentially play himself into the back end of the first round. That guy's role is not just going to go away. Like, he's going to get his lion's share of targets and receptions and yards and touchdowns. Aaron Anderson was your leading receiver a year ago with 884 yards. He wasn't just a great big play threat. He was also extremely reliable with his hands. He caught 70% of his targets. That guy's role just isn't all of a sudden going to diminish. The dynamic between Anderson, between Hilton and Brown, I find extremely intriguing for LSU this season, because they're all very similar. Barian Brown and Aaron Anderson have almost the same skill set. They're almost the same exact size. They're in the same mold. Barian Brown can maybe burn a little bit more, but Chris Hilton can absolutely burn for you as well, past defenders. The dynamic and how the reps are split up between those three are going to be really, really intriguing, because, oh, by the way, you still have Bauer Sharp and you still have Trey'Dez Green, who's an absolute freak. And then in the spring, they were working Destin Hill primarily in the red zone, and that could very well be a role for him. It's hard for me to look at anyone in that receiving core for LSU and call them sleeper or your potential breakout, because there's so many. How do you define breakout in that room? Like, could you see Barian Brown come in and maybe take more of what Aaron Anderson did and he be the guy with 884 yards this year? Sure. And Anderson maybe goes down to 600? Sure. Could you also see that reversed, where Brown produces more, maybe what he did at Kentucky his first year with Will Levis throwing him the football, and Anderson's back right around where he was a year ago with 880 yards, maybe even 900? Yeah, you could see that too. So that's why I just struggle looking at that room and saying, yeah, that's where the sleeper is. It's not to say that I think Barian Brown's going to be bad. I don't. I think Barian Brown's going to be great. I think he's going to be extremely dynamic in the return game. But you just have so many mouths to feed that I think it's impossible to be like, yeah, that guy in the receiving corps, he's going to break out. I think that's one of the things that makes LSU great. I think that's one of the things that is going to have Garrett Nussmeier set up for a massive season production-wise in the passing game. It's because he's going to have so many different guys to throw to. We'll see who all ends up getting the lion's share. Now, that's not the only reason I disagree, because I do have a guy that I think is the sleeper for LSU. But for me, he's on the defensive side of the ball, and I think it's Jack Pyburn. And maybe I'm buying into just listening to him talk a little bit too much. But that guy gets me fired up to the point where I want to go run through a wall. And one area that LSU really needed to improve is pass rush. At any time a microphone has been in Jack Pyburn's face, he has talked about wanting to become one of the best pass rushers. That's the last part of his game that he needs to refine, is the pass rush. And if he does that, along with guys like Patrick Payton, Gabe Relaford, like, Pyburn's going to play meaningful snaps on the edge for LSU and could be a really, really sneaky presence off the edge and get to the quarterback a lot. And you could see him increase his draft stock throughout this season. That's what I think of when I think sleeper potential breakout, is a guy who is coming in, who is nasty, mean, physical, but also really fast off the edge and has a singular focus on this part of his game that he wants to improve, and who you know the talent is there because you saw him really be able to wreak havoc in the backfield down the stretch of the season for Florida a year ago when he racked up multiple tackles for loss. He only had the one sack, but he ended up with 5 TFLs on the year. And again, the majority of those really down the final month of the season. That's what I really look at. And again, it's the unit in LSU's defense that everyone's really going to count on to take that next step, to allow this LSU team to take the next step. And I think Jack Pyburn's going to be a huge part of that because he's already a stellar run defender. And if he can unlock that pass rush element, you're looking at a guy who could have a massive, massive year. So for me, I go Jack Pyburn there. And again, I think him being on the defensive side of the ball is extremely, extremely important. Doesn't mean there aren't others who could break out for LSU. Oh, Trey'Dez Green could have a massive breakout season. Trey'Dez Green fits that role that Jack Pyburn does. A guy who you saw down the stretch really come into his own and now is going into year 2 in the weight room, year 2 in the system and all of that. But again, it's just the mouths that you're going to have to feed on that side of the ball are going to be plentiful. But Trey'Dez Green will absolutely have a massive season and contribute to winning for LSU. But for me, if you ask one sleeper, I'm giving you Jack Pyburn. I think he is set up for an awesome, awesome year here at LSU for really what's likely is one season. All right, we're going to grab a break. Come back on the other side. Are the Saints headed to Europe to play football? Maybe. We'll give you a few details on that next here on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham. Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. You know those 4 locations, and what an awesome time to get by Clegg's Nursery because they still have every single day shipments of flowers coming in, plants, trees, shrubs. You want to beautify the exterior of your home. You want to add that pop of color to your flower bed, to your patio pots. Maybe you got unwanted pests like ants or snakes or mosquitoes, wasps. They can help you take care of all of them. Maybe you got weeds coming up in your lawn. You want to get rid of that. Maybe you got dead spots in your lawn. The horticulturists, the professionals at Clegg's Nursery have the knowledge, the know-how, the expertise, and all the products you need to win Yard of the Month every month for your whole life. Guaranteed. Actually, I can't back that up. You have to do some of the work, too. It's Clegg's Nursery.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Speaking of which, Rouse's.com. Father's Day this weekend. Maybe you're going to be grilling burgers for dad. You want to build a better burger. Rouse's can help you do it. Get by any of the Rouse's locations. You get all the trimmings, the fixings, the sides that you need for your burgers or whatever you're going to be eating for Father's Day. You want to buy dad a couple of steaks to throw on the grill, you can do that, of course, at Rouse's in their great butcher department, their meat section. Maybe you let someone else take care of it. They got great catering trays over at Rouse's. You can order there. Heading up to Omaha, stock up those ice chests before you hit the road for the drive up to the Midwest, or if you're just hanging out here this week for Father's Day or to watch the College World Series, whatever you need, they got it at Rouse's. Get there, check out that weekly ad on the app, on the homepage. If you're doing your grocery shopping, you want to save, they'll always find ways for you to do that. Of course, they love to source locally. Rouse's, born in Louisiana, the #1 supermarket in the entire Southeast. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's. This feels like home.
All right, we're going to get to the Saints potentially playing a game overseas here. But this just came through the inbox. I told you earlier that D1Baseball.com named Derek Curiel and Kason Evans first-team freshman All-Americans for 2025. D1 Baseball has also just named Derek Curiel their National Freshman of the Year. So major congratulations to Derek Curiel. That is so well earned. You know what? I'm glad he got some type of Freshman of the Year recognition because, look, I went through this whole thing. When those awards were announced on Musso at the Box. And I said that Derek Curiel shouldn't have been the SEC Freshman of the Year. that it should have been Chris Rimbert from Auburn because he was awesome all year consistently. The caveat for Curiel was without that little stretch down the back end of the season where he struggled, he would have won the award going away. With all due respect to Dylan Volantis. The issue I had with the award when it was given out was that it went to Volantis and not Chris Rimbert because Volantis is a reliever and he was awesome. Like he was a dominant closer. He was great. And he'll be at the front of Texas' rotation come 2026, most likely. At least they're going to try that. But he impacted like 20 games that his team played. He impacted him huge. Like he impacted winning a lot. But a guy like Rimbert, a guy like Curiel, they played in every game for their team. And where Curiel was always going to end up getting his due was going to be National Freshman of the Year. Because it's announced now in late June and early July after the season is done. You're going to get to see him in the postseason. And Derek Curiel was awesome in the postseason for LSU. It made you forget all about the struggles he had against Texas A&M, against South Carolina, against Arkansas, even though he tied the game in one of those in the Friday night game against the Hogs. It made you forget about all of that. In the Super Regional, Derek Curiel hit .571. He was a member of the College World Series All-Tournament team, had 6 hits in Omaha, including 3 RBI and some big RBI to boot. Baton Rouge all-regional team, all-tournament team there. He was awesome. He was absolutely awesome. And it kind of, I don't want to say it rights or wrong, because as I said, I didn't think Derek Curiel should have won SEC Freshman of the Year, given at the point of the season it was given out, and what you had somebody like Chris Rimbert do at Auburn, who was also a top 10 team at that point, and he hit like I think he hit 393 in SEC play. Like, he was awesome and played every day. But when you take in account the entire season, an honor like this was going to come for Derek Curiel. At least it felt like he deserved it. And I'm glad that it did come down the chute for him here. He becomes the 8th LSU player to earn National Freshman of the Year. He joins Todd Walker in 92, Brett Laxton in 93, Mike Fontenot in 2000, Lane Mestape in 01, Alex Bregman in 2013, Alex Lang in 2015, and of course Dylan Cruz in 2021. So a massively well-deserved honor for Derek Curiel. Could not be happier that he got the recognition, and it puts a bow on what was a stellar freshman season at LSU for Curiel, and one of the, now with this honor, it's just the cherry on top to one of the freshman seasons that we will remember most of all. Like, it's up there with Todd Walker in 1992. It's up there with Bregman in 2013. And Cruz in 21. And the one thing that Curiel was able to do, none of those guys did their freshman year, was win a national championship. I mean, sure, Bregman collected hardware outside of National Freshman of the Year with the Brooks Wallace Award. Dylan Cruz set the freshman home run record at LSU, breaking Mike Fontenot's record from 2000. Curiel reached base in damn near every single game this year, won a natty, hit leadoff for you the whole time, and now is National Freshman of the Year. That's awesome, and congratulations to him. He was great. It's a freshman season that we will talk about forever. Is the one that number 6 turned in. So congratulations to Derek Curiel, D1Baseball.com's National Freshman of the Year, the 8th LSU Tiger to take home that honor in the history of the program. All right, it's after further review here on a Wednesday. We are presented by Goodwood, Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com. The New Orleans Saints might be heading overseas here. Not in 2025, but in 2026. And to Paris, France. New Orleans Saints in Francais, the Twitter account, tweeted just about an hour and a half ago. something's cooking in Paris. And they had a picture of a Saints helmet next to the Louvre, next to the Eiffel Tower, all of those things. And what they had in there as well is hashtag July 4th. So potentially look for an announcement about the Saints heading to Paris to play a football game, regular season game, maybe on July 4th for the 2026 season. This is something the Saints, and Fletcher Mackel actually quote tweeted this, and credit to him. He pointed this out that, look, he's been having reports on this since summer of 2020. He did reports on this in Paris when he was covering the Olympics, and that the Saints have been expecting to, and in parentheses he put, badly want to play a regular season game in Paris. It makes a lot of sense. They have a great relationship with the country. The New Orleans Saints do. It's their kind of country that they're the NFL ambassador for, or whatever the NFL calls it. The draft picks in the 2025 draft were announced from Paris by French citizens for the New Orleans Saints in this past year's draft, and it's something that they want to do. I understand why the NFL does the international series. I totally get it. It makes money. It grows the game. It's all of those things. Sure, and they want to expand. I get it. They're trying to be international, as you should. I hate it because it costs you a home game more often than not. And it just completely throws a wrench in your schedule. More often than not, it can dictate when your bye week's going to be. It's an inconvenience for the team and their season, in my opinion. So I'm just not a big fan of it. I also don't love... Actually, that's not true. The one thing I kind of do like about it is it's early in the morning, so you could sit there, watch it, and then have the rest of the day to just watch the NFL. That part's really cool. But the inconveniences that it brings to the team and the rest of the season, potentially, and at least the next few weeks when you're getting over that travel, I don't love that. But it's something the Saints have wanted to do, and it looks like it could be announced this weekend. I don't really know why else they would hashtag July 4 in there. Other than maybe that's the date that we're going to get this official announcement. But it looks like the Saints are going to be heading to Paris in 2026 to play a regular season game. We'll keep you posted as we learn more about that. All right, let's grab a break. We're going to come back on the other side. We'll wrap the hour with Tigers and the Pros. It's AFR on a Wednesday, presented by your Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Stay here.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Duplessis Builders, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. Y'all, whenever we talk about the pool building process, I don't want this to be boring to you, but it's important that I point out how Duplessis goes about their process, because it gives color and description to why they were able to give a 10-year workmanship warranty. Like when some companies say, we'll build your pool in 2 weeks, that's not a real thing. At Duplessis, the excavation takes 2 to 3 days. Then they'll shoot the gunite. Takes 21 days for gunite, for concrete to cure. So they're not going to proceed until those 21 days have passed. The product will last longer, so they're not going to rush the process. After you let that tiling and coping cure for 2 weeks, then you add water. Before you add water, then you plaster. So it's why a lot of pools start to fail in 2 to 3 years, because they don't do it right. You'll never worry about that with Duplessis Builders.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
It is my pleasure this week to welcome our new partner on to After Further Review, Our Lady of the Lake. Of course, great partnership as well as the official championship health partner of LSU. When you think who takes care of the LSU athletes, well, it's Our Lady of the Lake and the physicians there. Game-changing care, keeps athletes at their best, builds stronger, healthier Louisiana for all of us at every level. I've told you about my experience throughout my life living in Baton Rouge at Our Lady of the Lake, from volunteering at the Ronald McDonald Playroom to helping raise funds through so many different fundraising efforts for the standalone Children's Hospital to taking my son to see specialists there at Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital, to my own personal health. My GP is Dr. Kurt Chastain with Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health. It's good enough for the LSU athletes. It's good enough for me and you, of course. It's Our Lady of the Lake. You can learn more at ololrmc.com/LSU.
Closing out hour number 2 here of AFR on a Wednesday. Sincerest of apologies to Brett Laxton and Mike Fontenot. They also won national championships at LSU as freshmen. That was a complete brain fart on my part. That was ugly. That was rough. I mean, Brett Laxton, for God's sakes, threw a complete game in the championship in '93 and struck out 16 hitters. And the 2000 team is arguably the best LSU team of all time. And Mike Fontenot was a freshman on that team. That's my bad on that. Wow, that's what you get when you just fly through things and do it off the cuff. Anyway, Beck, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All righty, first one here. Texas Rangers and the Baltimore Orioles faced off yesterday. Josh Smith 1 for 5 with the runs scored, and the Rangers got the win 10-2. Something of note as well: Josh Smith was playing first base in that game, and that is the 8th time he's played first base for the Rangers. But Musso, Josh Smith has played at least one game at every single position.
I love it.
Except for catcher. Of course, not pitcher either. but he's played left, right, and center field, first, second, third, and shortstop.
Beck, it has been one of my favorite things to do during Tigers in the Pros this year is quiz Matt on where Josh Smith played in that game.
Yeah.
It started in spring training. They were just moving him all around. And we were like, I wonder if they're going to do that in the regular season. And sure enough, dude will be in left field game 1, shortstop game 2, and at first base in game 3. It's wild.
Yeah, this year he's played 1 game at right field, 2 at center, 2 at left, 34 shortstop, 11 thirds, 2 at second base, 18 at first base as well. So
look, we got to get him in the game at catcher.
Yes, at least just an inning.
The Rangers, you know how you throw a position player when you're down like 13 to nothing in the 8th? Can we get Josh Smith in at catcher down like 13 runs in the 9th inning?
Yes.
Can we, just so he can play
every
all 8?
position?
And you know what? Hell,
let him pitch when they're down a bunch of runs.
Let him pitch and then let him go catch the next inning.
Yes.
Let's just do that. Well, I guess you can't because you got.
Well, that's true. You got
to take him out. But moving from catcher to pitcher. How about that?
That's what we need to do.
That would be epic. Has anyone ever?
I don't know.
Play catcher and pitcher in the same game?
I can't imagine, but maybe it's possible.
Maybe.
I think it's possible, but I don't know. That would be. Yeah, the Rangers need to do that. It needs to be done.
That's what I want from you, Texas Rangers.
Yes. Rangers, by the way, got the win 10-2 over the Orioles. Next thing here, the Blue Jays. I didn't mention this yesterday. Blue Jays and Yankees squared off, and Kevin Gausman, no decision, 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Not amazing, but 2 back-to-back performances for the Gausman. That's not pretty solid, and the Blue Jays got the win there 12-5, but DJ LeMahieu did play for the Yankees at second base. He was 2 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout, so not too bad for DJ there. He's picking it up a little bit last month here. And Pittsburgh Pirates, Paul Skeens on the mound. You could probably guess what happened. 5 innings, no runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, no decision. But the Pirates won. They did win. 1-0. 1-0. They got the win. That is Paul's 7th no decision this year. It's actually not at the top of the list for the MLB. There are some guys with 8, 9, and 10 no decisions, but 7 no decisions for Paul there.
How many of those guys have a sub-2 ERA?
Yeah, probably not many.
And are leading the Cy Young race at the midway point in the season.
Probably none if I had to guess. And then we've got some injury updates here. Jake Fraley for the Reds. This was actually a couple of days ago, but he was given a shot of cortisone on Saturday in an effort to avoid undergoing surgery and keep playing for that shoulder injury he's got. He will eventually need surgery after the season, but they're trying to avoid it and get him back on the field. Jake is just trying to power through it here. Hopefully he can get back on the field and play some more for the Reds because, man, he's just had injury problems very, very frequently in his career. Yeah. So really hoping he can get back on the diamond there for them. And then Alex Lang is going to get another rehab start or appearance with AAA Toledo this week. Manager A.J. Hinch said, "We've played as conservatively because of the lat. He's a max effort pitcher. He's feeling better after every outing, which is good. His strike throwing has been consistent. The breaking ball usage has been good. So potentially maybe this could be the last appearance for Alex Lang and AAA, and then after the All-Star break, potentially a return for the Tigers for him." And then Alex Bregman, I'm sure you probably saw this.
I did see
Musso, but he did have a little bit of a media session today, or is it yesterday? I'm not sure. But he sounds like he's feeling pretty good and was asked if he could potentially return before the All-Star break. Said possibly. We'll see. Today was really good, so we'll see what the group says. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because today was the best it's been. We got to see how we come out of it tomorrow. And manager Alex Cora acknowledged that Bregman would most likely return after the All-Star break. But sounds pretty good to say that he will 100% be back after the All-Star break and possibly even before.
The other thing that's probably going to happen there is he's probably going to skip a rehab assignment altogether.
Yeah,
he'll probably just return straight to the big club and have his quote-unquote rehab at bats against Major League pitching.
Yeah.
The injury to Bregman's a bummer, man, because he was on an all-star track. He was going to be a lock for the all-star game and probably a starter at third base potentially
probably
for the AL. I mean, he was just in fuego the first few months of the season. So that is a bummer for Bregman, but hopefully he gets back and he can continue going strong there for Boston. All right, that's going to wrap it up here for hour number 2. When we come back, we'll dive into a little bit more LSU baseball, and we'll set the scene for a massive recruiting night for LSU football.
After further review.
Brought to you by Evermore. Drink Evermore, EVAMOR, evermore.com, evermore.com. For elite athletes, for someone who just wants a healthier lifestyle. Maybe you're a parent, you want a healthier option for your children. Evermore is a great option. I would highly encourage you, bottom line, if you're drinking tap water, don't. Bare minimum, filter your tap water. But the best option is Evermore. This is natural artesian water. It's underground aquifers on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain, right there in Covington. They dug a well into that aquifer, and I mean, it's literally thousands of years in the making. That's why they call it Mother Nature's masterpiece. That's what they're pulling out of the ground. The only filtration is take like the sediment from the ground out of the water, and it goes right into the bottle. So it never touches air until you uncap it, take that first delicious sip. Learn more where you can buy it, great retailers or online, EVAMOR, evermore.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news from ESPN's Shams Charania. After clearing waivers, big man DeAndre Ayton's agreed to sign with the Lakers. Coming into this NBA offseason, one of LA's biggest needs, finding a legitimate starting center. The Knicks coaching search saga, which included requesting and being denied permission to interview 5 current head coaches after the surprising firing of Tom Thibodeau, has ended. Knicks expected to hire Mike Brown, a 2-time NBA Coach of the Year and 4-time NBA champion, as an assistant, as their new coach. Sirius XM NBA radio host Frank Isola.
Mike Brown is a solid coach, has a lot of experience, has experience dealing with terrific players. He's coached, obviously, in the Eastern Conference before. They could do a lot worse than that, and he walks into a situation where there'll be pressure, absolutely. Eastern Conference probably not as good this upcoming season as it's been, and I think the expectations to the Knicks will be through the roof.
Frank Isola on Joe and Q. Baseball Jack Magnum inside the park home run in the Rays' 6-5 victory over the A's. Dodgers lefty Clayton Kershaw enters tonight's start against the White Sox 3 Ks away from 3,000 in his career.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Off and running, hour number 3 after further review here on a Wednesday, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Go to yourgoodwood.com. Jacob Beck, Paul O'Neill, along for the ride. Musso in for Moscona, and glad that you're along for the ride here as well. 2 hours in the books and one more to go. We still have to set the stage for what could be a massive recruiting night for LSU football. 2 top targets on the defensive side of the ball set to announce their decision in about an hour or so. Trenton Henderson, a 5-star out of Pensacola, and J.J. Bush, a 4-star linebacker out of Theodore, Alabama. Kind of set the stage for those announcements, what to expect. We talked it over with Shea Dixon on Tuesday's show. We'll let you kind of hear what Shea had to say on them as well, and where things stand, and what you can kind of expect from those 2 guys before we get out of here on today's show. If you're just punching the clock and hopping in the car to head home from work, and maybe you missed the start of the show, I kind of want to dive back into something we talked about at the open, and it's the remaining portal needs for LSU baseball, because now the portal window to enter is officially closed. And you can look at and have a little bit more set vision of LSU's roster heading into 2026. It's still very fluid. There's still plenty to come. You haven't got through the MLB draft yet, right? And that obviously is going to dictate what initial needs you might, still be in search of. But for me, there's certain ones that are just there regardless of what happens in the draft or in any other obstacle that the offseason might throw in your way. So I kind of wanted to revisit and talk all of it again. For me, it starts on the mound. And in a starting pitching role. When you look at LSU heading into 2026, LSU has a lot of guys who appear capable and who you trust and who you're confident can take that next step. Casey Evans, chief among them, to slide in the rotation and be that guy, right? You'd love to see William Schmidt take that next step. Cooper Williams would probably get a shot there. Maybe even Maverick Rizzi. Maybe even Zach Cowan. You have a lot of those guys. And with respect to Zach Cowan, the one thing you're missing is that proven front of the rotation, bona fide guy that can come in, step into the SEC, and be a starting pitcher for you. And that's what LSU still has to go find. Because you just don't have it on this team yet. Could Kason Evans be that guy? Sure, absolutely. Kason Evans was 4th in innings pitched on LSU's team as a freshman. Had a couple starts, served a lot of different roles. But the start against Tennessee was great. The start against Texas A&M was so-so. The start against Arkansas wasn't very good. So you just don't know if that's going to translate over the course of a season. You think it will because the guy's just impressively talented. And for what it's worth, I do think Kason Evans is going to be in LSU's rotation next year. And I do think he's going to be a big part of it. And I think he's going to have a great year. But there is still the unknown there. Jay Johnson each year has gone out and gotten a proven starting pitcher. Whether that was Paul Skeens, who was Air Force's Friday night guy and started 15 games and threw 100. Whether it was Luke Holman, Gage Jump. Whether it was Anthony Ianson. By the end of the 24 season, Anthony Ianson had worked his way into the Friday night guy at UC San Diego. He led that team in innings pitched. And you could see the stuff. Multiple pitches and mid-90s fastball. Same thing with guy, because you might say, what about Cowan? He came from a lower level. So did Ianson. So did Skeens. You're saying they were proven going in. The stuff was just better. Anthony Ianson came with 4 pitches and a mid-90s fastball. Paul Skeens is going to win a Cy Young in Major League Baseball this year. And he threw 103 miles an hour with 4 pitches and a wipeout slider. I'm not saying you have to go get the next Paul Skeens, but someone in the mold of Anthony Ianson would be nice. And I think they're after that because Jay's done it each year. You need that guy who you know can go out there and sustain for the entire season. Next for me is power bat. And this is where Ethan Fry's draft decision becomes huge because, and we kind of talked about this a little bit on Tuesday. I talked about it today on Musso at the Box. Ethan Fry could absolutely benefit by showing he could play a position, coming back and showing that he could play a position. And it would most likely be first base. But he's a true junior, and he would forfeit all leverage if he did that. Strike while the iron hot time is now for Ethan Fry in the draft, where he could command a higher number, potentially, even without playing a position. Potentially. So I could see him signing a pro deal if the money's right. You could also see him come back to LSU, which would be massive for this lineup because Ethan Fry is a guy that is capable of hitting 20 home runs. His first full season playing, he hit 13. Comp that to a guy like Jared Jones. Jared Jones in his first full season playing as a freshman hit 14. The very next year, he hit 28. Like, you can just see it. You know it's in there. Ethan Fry is and could be the only guy on LSU's team right there, right now, that you have that with. And you absolutely need it. And honestly, he could be off to professional baseball, and you don't have it at all. LSU has got to go get a 20-homer guy. And in my preference, I would want it to be a proven 20-homer guy in Power 4 baseball. With much respect to Braden Simpson, who hit a ton of home runs at High Point, how does that translate over to the SEC? Does it translate over to around 20, or does it translate more to 10 to 12? Like it did with a guy like Danny Dickinson. And Danny Dickinson was phenomenal and is going to play professional baseball most likely. Major League Baseball, most likely. Of course, he's going to play professional baseball. Each year, Jay Johnson in his lineup that he's been at LSU has had that guy. Sometimes multiple. Whether if it was in 2022 when it was Dylan Cruz and Braden Jobert. 23, you had 144 home runs. You were great. Tommy White, Dylan Cruz, Braden Jobert, Gavin Dugas. Like, you had multiple guys in that lineup capable of hitting 20 home runs. A year ago, Tommy White and Jared Jones. And then this year you had Bear again. But at times, Jared Jones was really your only power threat. And at times that got you in trouble. It didn't matter in the long run. You were a really good offense, and Jay Johnson had a great feel for his lineup and his team, and it was awesome to watch him work that all year. But you have got to have power in this lineup in 2026. The SEC demands it. The parks are smaller. You tend to see higher scoring games. You have to go out and get that guy who you know is going to be able to give you 20 home runs. And I would tell you, even if Ethan Fry does come back, I still want you to go out and get that guy. Because it just changes so much of what you can do. Next for me is outfield depth. Boy, do you need that. You know, it's funny. That was the thing for LSU coming into 2025. It's like, how are you going to feed all these mouths in the outfield? And now you look around and you go, who's left? Ashton Larson hit the portal. Nick Paul hit the portal. Josh Pearson's out of eligibility. Expecting Chris Stanfield to sign a professional contract. Your depth's gone there. Derek Curiel, Jake Brown, that's a great start, man. That's a great start. But you need more. And you've got some guys in your high school class for sure that will probably make it to campus and can help fill the depth. But you're definitely going to need another guy to go out there and start immediately. That's something I would really, really watch going forward as LSU adding in the outfield. And then, I mean, of course, look, you depending on what happens in the draft, you might need to look at certain positions like first base. If there's another guy out there at third, you'd love to add that. Some infield depth would be nice. But I think you feel pretty good with Milam returning, adding Dardar. You'll have Reeves back. You added Simpson. But, I mean, there's still no more Mikey Ryan. There's no Michael Braswell. There's no David Hogg. They've all hit the portal. So you've lost depth there too. But for me, those top three, starting pitching, power bat, preferably somebody from the power four, preferably, and then outfield. It's crazy that the majority of the holes this LSU team is really going to have to fill are going to be in the lineup. So you've done great pitching-wise already in the portal, adding the three lefties, and I love that. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the focus shift a little bit more towards offensive position players here going forward, and with an eye, obviously, on the starting pitching role. We'll keep tracking it as it goes along. Portal officially closed, but now comes the real fun part where you start to sign guys just left and right, hopefully. And Jay Johnson is working those fingers to the bone. All right, we're going to grab a break, come back on the other side with more. This is a Wednesday edition of AFR presented by Goodwood Midsexual Wellness. Musso in for Moscona. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-001-752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. I love sharing 5-star Google reviews. Here's one from Ricky Gomez, who said Chris, his technician, was very professional and knowledgeable during the HVAC evaluation. He provided details and recommendations in a clear and concise manner. That's one of the things that always stands out. If you're having an issue with your AC or your heater, and River City's 1 Hour Air sends out a technician for an evaluation, they're going to explain your options to you. And that may sound simple, but none of it, I don't know anything about an HVAC, neither do you. Let's be honest. So whenever they go get up in your attic or they go look at your HVAC unit on the side of your house and they come talk to you, they're going to explain very clearly what's happening and your options to remedy it. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Quick reminder about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're the best. If you are, gentlemen, thinking about popping the question and you're thinking about where am I going to go buy that diamond, I want you to consider this. There are places that will sell you man-made lab diamonds, but what are you buying? It's according to its makeup and characteristics, sure, diamond. But is it going to hold its value? Like, is that the way you want to say, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you? Go to Lee Michaels. Go to Lee Michaels. Walk in the door. Experience the thing I talk about all the time, which is the Lee Michaels experience. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with 10 locations. Baton Rouge, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, Mississippi, Texas as well. 10 locations across 3 states. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her, gentlemen. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
It's always funny to me when things find their way in and out of the news cycle. It just really is. Because, I mean, especially when it deals with one of your local teams, because a lot of the time you're like, oh, yeah, I mean, we've all been talking about that for forever. And it happened today for LSU football. Wilson Alexander over the weekend had that piece in The Advocate where he broke down and talked to a bunch of people at LSU about how they were going to, distribute revenue and how they were going to generate revenue and all that. And one of the things in there was LSU wants to sell a jersey patch on all the uniforms, like in all sports. I think the way it was put in the article was a quote like from the cross country team to the football team. Now that's not legal. by NCAA rules yet. It's kind of pending approval now. The NCAA is going to end up changing that, by the way. Originally, they didn't want people to put things on the field, and now I think that's obviously changing as well. So the jersey sponsorship thing will change also. It has to. Teams need different avenues for revenue, especially now. But everyone latched onto that today. Like, I saw it on like 4 or 5 different websites. A lot of people were angry about it. I'm a uniform snob. It irritates the hell out of me when teams don't wear their school colors. One of the things I just really, really hate is what you're seeing in baseball now, where everyone just goes to this all powder blue uniform, or A&M's all maroon and white pinstripes. They're horrible. They look like softball uniforms. They're horrible. Gaudy looks aggravate me. Going away from your traditional colors aggravate me. If you want to put a patch on the jersey, fine. I don't care about it. You want to sell an advertisement? Go ahead. Because if there's one thing we've learned from watching this in other sports, professional sports, it's real small. You notice it, but you just become immune to it after a while, too. Take LSU's football uniform, for instance. I mean, it is iconic. It is awesome. And it wouldn't be any less awesome if they put a small sponsorship patch on the, I don't know, probably the right breast. And after 3 games, you don't even notice it anymore. But it brings in revenue for you to share with your athletes and entice other athletes to come to your school. That sounds really good to me. The freaking New York Yankees have a sponsorship patch on the sleeve of their jersey. I hate the New York Yankees. But there is not a more iconic uniform in sports than the Yankee pinstripes. And they put a sponsorship patch on their sleeve. They're also one of the most wealthy franchises in sports. And that helps them and Major League Baseball generate even more revenue, so they did it. I don't get the outrage about this. And again, as I said, I'm very particular about uniforms. I just think after 3 games, you wouldn't even notice that it was there. And if it serves its purpose, and LSU, in that article, Wilson, talking to the folks over at LSU, Clay Harrison folks, said they already know where they put it on the uniforms. It would be in purple and gold, so it would blend in. It's not like you just have different colors on the jersey. It'd probably be one of the official LSU partners as well, most likely, or something like that. I don't know. That's just me spitballing. I think it'd be fine. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Let's see if we get some any feedback you have on that. Beck, you have a strong feeling on potentially selling jerseys? Because, the NCAA is eventually going to allow this. They're going to have to.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I know, of course, Hunt, is the uniform czar, as he likes to call himself. Yeah. He also is very particular about the uniforms. And as for myself, I think it's one of those things that, I would rather not have a patch on the uniform. If we can just have the uniforms like they've looked for, decades, I would prefer that. I think most people would, but if you're going to put, a patch on the jersey and it's going to make the team, it's going to give the team, however much, I don't know, $1 million, couple million, who knows? If it's going to help with the revenue, then they're going to do it and people aren't going to like it. But for me, I don't hate the idea of it. I think I agree with you. I don't know that you're going to really notice it every, maybe you're obviously going to look for it the first time they wear them, and it's going to be, a very big talking point. But I think even after a season, I think, after that, it's like, all right, it's just been there. It's just, you get used to it. I mean, LSU's you already have the SEC patch on your jersey.
And
like
it's small, right there in the middle of the football jersey.
It's not big. You have a Nike logo as well. Like, it's basically an advertisement for Nike at that point. So I don't really think this is going to be that big of a deal. In my opinion, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
This is the other thing I would offer is bowl games.
Yeah.
You already have a sponsorship with the bowl patch that gets put on your jersey. And you know what? You know when you notice it? You notice it when LSU or any school or whatever, when they send out the tweet that they sewed them on there. We're playing in the, whatever bowl, and here are the patches. You notice them then, and you notice them for the first drive of the game when someone zooms in close on the push. When you're in the wide shot and you got the 22 players in there and it's the line of scrimmage, no one notices the stupid bowl patch, and you wouldn't notice this either. Like, it's just, I brought up the Yankees. I had to Google during break if the Yankees had a patch on their jersey, because you don't notice it, but it's serving its purpose. There are times when it catches your eye, and that's all those companies need. Like I said, I can be as big of a snob about uniforms as anybody. I love uniforms, but put a patch on there, make some extra money. I mean, I don't care. You already do it in a number of different avenues already, like you said with Nike. I mean, that's the LSU puts the number 7. They gave the number 7 patch to Will Campbell because he can't wear the number on the offensive line, right? That added to his jersey, but no one's upset about that. I don't know, man. I will tell you, it'll eventually change. It will eventually change because the NCAA is going to have to make it. They're going to have to allow it because teams are going to need the money. But I mean, put a patch on the jersey. Go make as much revenue as you can and get good players and keep winning championships. That's all I really care about. All right, let me know what you think. You can tweet me at Musso Matthew, put it in the Bayou 4 YouTube chat. Get some questions in for Ask Us. We'll probably wrap the show with Ask Us as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. We're going to grab a break, come back on the other side, and set the stage for what could be a big night in LSU football recruiting with 2 top targets on defense set to announce their decision in about half an hour or so. That's next here on AFR.
AFR.
If you are thinking about selling your home, maybe you've been on the fence, you've looked at rates and everything, like if you do sell, can you afford to buy the next home? Listen, the market right now is en fuego. I was talking to Darren James over the weekend, and he was like, Matt, this is the start of 2025 is the best start we've ever had. I'm telling you, consumer confidence is back. It is time right now to check out Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com. Yes, in Baton Rouge, but all over. Like, I just opened this one up. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo in Slidell that Darren's selling right on the water there on Harbor Drive. You can check it out, 129. You can check it out right now at agent225.com, agent225.com. Listen, buying, selling, commercial, residential, you need a realtor, you need the best. You need Darren James. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers' Comp, Our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
We're brought to you by Supper Club. You can book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. One of the things about Supper Club that I love is if you want to go to Supper Club and be a baller, you can do it. You want to go to Supper Club and order a $5,000 bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild, you can do it. You want to go have $400 shots of cognac, you can do it. You can have experiences at Supper Club that usually are reserved for Las Vegas and New York and Paris and Abu Dhabi. Like, that's here in Baton Rouge. But the thing you got to remember as well, if you want to go to Supper Club and have the best steak of your life and have a few appetizers, a dessert, bottle of wine, you can do it as affordably as any other restaurant in town. But the experience at Supper Club is unmatched. Introduced open seating at the bar, first come, first serve. So if you knock off of work, you want to head by Supper Club, you can walk in without a reservation, see if you can grab a bar stool or a table by the bar. Well, have a great dinner, maybe cocktail, close some business. Book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com.
All right, LSU enters Wednesday night with the number 7 recruiting class in the country. This is football. And they have a chance to really bolster that here in about half an hour, give or take some change. We had Shea Dixon with us on Tuesday in his normal spot, and we talked about the two guys getting set to make their decisions public here on Wednesday night. That is Trenton Henderson, an edge out of Pensacola, and J.J. Bush, a linebacker out of Alabama. And both have been high priorities for LSU. Both seem to be heavy LSU leans. We'll start first with Trenton Henderson. This was Shea Dixon on AFR Tuesday talking about kind of the latest and where things stand with the edge out of Pensacola.
LSU is the team to beat. And they were one of a number of teams that landed official visits and unofficial visits. It's off season, but in the past month, the past few weeks, it's come down to LSU, Florida, Texas, and really here in the end, LSU and Florida. And we're talking about a kid out of Pensacola who is a top 100 prospect. He is ranked as, I think, right around one of the top 10 edge rushers in this class. Very highly thought of player. I'm leaning LSU.
So, I mean, when you look at Henderson, and I mean, Shea obviously nails it, I mean, as always. Depending on which recruiting service you subscribe to, he's a 5-star, but he's a composite 4. On3 does have him listed as the 11th best edge in the composite in the nation. So, again, highly thought after guy. You look at the prediction models for a guy like Henderson, who is just massive, by the way, 6'4", 225, super athletic guy. it is still all LSU. You haven't had anything late come in and waver that at all. I mean, everyone who's kind of put in that final prediction has stuck with their final prediction. It's a 92% on 3. I'm looking at it's 100% here on 247. So, I mean, really whichever site you kind of go to there, it looks like Trenton Henderson should be an LSU Tiger. Now, there's a home state school, obviously, in Florida. Also, in that interview with Shea, he noted that Pensacola is actually closer to Baton Rouge than it is to Gainesville. So, distance would not be an issue in regards there. But Florida, you could see, I mean, NIL era, anything's always possible, right? And does somebody come, throw a bag in there late and change a mind? But it certainly seems like LSU is the team to beat. And again, a super athletic guy off the edge. He would be LSU's first edge commitment in the class of 2026. And look, I mean, Kevin Peoples has done a phenomenal job really recruiting that spot for LSU since he's been here. A lot of it out of the transfer portal as well. But you look at a guy like Trenton Henderson. I mean, man, that could be huge. If you want to watch, I mean, he's going to announce his live on YouTube on multiple different platforms, recruiting platforms, I believe. So that should be, pretty soon right after we go off air here. So about, I don't know, maybe call it 23 minutes or so for Henderson. But that'd be a massive, massive get, and one that top 100 player in the country at a position of need. I mean, look how you addressed edge in the portal this season, and you only signed Damian Shanklin in the 2025 class. So that's a big position of need, and Trenton Henderson would be a huge get for LSU. And again, all signs point to the Tigers. You heard Shea Dixon there saying LSU's the team to beat. The other one is J.J. Bush. He is a linebacker out of Theodore, Alabama, Theodore High School. And here's what Shea had to say on J.J. Bush and his lean with LSU.
LSU's led the whole time. He's been the number one priority at linebacker, and kind of really one of the only ones that Blake Baker has really prioritized this cycle, given he's got some depth there. Obviously, there's always the portal. So I think they felt like if they could get J.J. Bush, that'd be a win, and anything else is lagniappe. And it's LSU, Arkansas, Missouri. And look, we're in the NIL era, and teams like Arkansas and Missouri who value a guy like J.J. Bush, these final 24, 48 hours can get nervous, even if you're the lead team like LSU is. But I've got my take on LSU.
Again, I mean, it's a guy, 6'3", 205 pounds, a 4-star composite, top 30 linebacker. You heard Shea say there, I mean, LSU's led the whole time. He's been the top and really the only priority for Blake Baker. And you hope they can reel him in. Again, Shea even mentioned there, NIL era, you never know, like Arkansas and Missouri. That could be a guy they really, really want. So maybe they find something, pull it together at the 11th hour. We'll wait and see. But the one thing I'll say is LSU in general, the job they have done recruiting the linebacker as of late, and Blake Baker, definitely. If that's been the guy he's made his top priority and really only priority, and that LSU's led the whole way, I feel it difficult to see that relationship floundering. Of course, again, it's a new era of college football and college sports, and things can change on a whim. But I don't know if you can get really a higher endorsement there than it's been Blake Baker's really his only priority. And J.J. Bush would be the first linebacker commit for LSU in this class of 2026. So, I mean, those are two really, really, really big targets. And, man, it could be a great night, but it definitely sounds like you're going to at least get one of the two. And that's only going to bolster a class that's already solid. One more quick thought as well on the job LSU's done at linebacker. I mean, this really goes kind of all the way back to Harold Perkins showing up here. And Perkins was class of 22. Blake Baker was your linebacker coach in 21. So Blake Baker had a heavy hand in recruiting Harold Perkins as well. Even though he wasn't retained, they got Perkins here anyway. Baker had a heavy hand in that. You look at LSU's evaluation in getting the Weeks brothers here, West and Witt especially, but now you've added Zach, and just the linebacker class you brought in a year ago with Charles Ross, who they love, Jaden Breaker, Keelan Moses, Devon Keys, how he blossomed in his freshman year down the stretch in 2024. Like, that's a position you look at for LSU and you feel great about. And J.J. Bush could be just the next guy in line there in a string of great signees, great commits that LSU has brought in at the linebacker position. And, man, it has really paid dividends for them on the field. And, again, I think Devon Keys is the perfect example of that. And Whit Weeks. Like, the two guys who played the lion's share of reps for you a year ago after the Perkins injury show that. Because not only is it bringing in top prospects at the spot, it's the development that you've seen from them as well, where they're ready to just kind of step in at a moment's notice and play. And a lot of that is credit to Blake Baker, the development piece of it as well. So, I mean, and look, it's not a surprise. We're used to that with him at LSU. I mean, everyone's going to point back to Damone Clark, right? So, but it's just, man, it's been a great run at linebacker. It doesn't get talked about enough, I don't think. We always talk about offensive line, right? And the run that Brad Davis has had, just bringing in 5-star after 5-star after 5-star after 5-star. It might not be 5-star after 5-star after 5-star at linebacker, but it is elite prospect after elite prospect. It is top 100 guy after top 100 guy. And J.J. Bush could kind of just be the next in line there. So, man, look, you hope that they bring them both in. Again, they'll make their decisions public here shortly, right at or right after 6 o'clock. Both heavy LSU leans, but it's recruiting. It's recruiting, and you just never know, right? It's what's the old saying? It's never done until the fax is sent in and the ink is dry, and sometimes then it's still not even done, especially in this era of college football. So we'll see. But LSU eagerly awaits the announcements of Trenton Henderson, a 5-star edge out of Pensacola, and J.J. Bush, a 4-star linebacker out of Theodore, Alabama, both set to make their decisions public here right after 6 o'clock. We'll have full reaction for you there and what it means for LSU potentially going forward in their class and how it impacts all of that, obviously, on Thursday's AFR. Right now, we are due for our final break of the show. We will grab that, come back on the other side, and wrap up a Wednesday edition of AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Stay here.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Gents, it doesn't matter what your age is. That age is a number. It's about how you feel. You remember what it was like when you were in your 20s or your 30s and you woke up in the morning, you had tons of energy to go to work, to play with your kids in the yard, to get to the gym, to feel vibrant. And as you age, you don't feel like that much anymore. It's harder to lose weight, harder to get motivation to go to the gym. You wake up feeling sore or tired. Maybe your love life isn't what it was. It doesn't have to be that way. A simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. And at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, there's never any contracts, and they have the lowest prices. You can get to start feeling better for as low as $125 a month with no contracts. It's Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit them online, yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. They will always find a way to get you the best possible price for the best possible tires on the road. That's what they do at Shawbills. And when they get you in by selling you the best tires, the cheapest price possible, they're going to treat you like family, and they're going to treat you so good you're going to keep coming back year after year after year every time you need anything for your vehicle. Tires rotated, oil changed, check engine light on, brakes squeaking, whatever's wrong with your vehicle, bring it to Shawbills. Let them give it the once-over. And you can always schedule online, so it's convenient. ShawbillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Shop tires online at ShawbillsTire.com. Be sure to ask about the Shawbills credit card as well, because you can save $50 off your first purchase when you use the Shawbills credit card only at Shawbills.
All right, wrapping up a Wednesday edition of AFR. We'll do so with a little bit of Ask Us. Get your questions in for Beck, for Paul, for me. You can ask us anything, really about anything. Bayou Ford YouTube chat, get them in there. You can tweet them at me, at Musso Matthew. Just get them in. We got a few here rolling in. Let's see. Ask us. This is easy. Ask us, what's your favorite hot sauce? I mean, I like just like traditional red pepper hot sauce, and I'll just take any of the local brands, quite honestly.
Tabasco, yeah.
Yeah, Tabasco, Crystal, Louisiana brand.
Yeah, I actually like the Tabasco. They have a couple of different types of, they have like the regular red bottle, and they also have like the green bottle, which is like the jalapeno. But they have one that's called the Chipotle Tabasco hot sauce, and it's in like a darker red bottle. The label's like a darker red. It says Chipotle on it, and that one is really good. It's got a little bit like a smoky flavor to it. I prefer that one over like the regular. I like the regular Tabasco, but I think this one's a little bit better overall. And I also I don't know if y'all have ever watched the Hot Ones videos.
For sure. Yeah.
So I actually somebody got me Christmas. They got me like the set of like all the sauces from like the show.
Okay.
And I tried all of them, and actually I tried like the hottest one. It wasn't unbearable. Like, it wasn't as bad as you would think it would be.
Okay. Did you do it like the show? Did you do them like in order?
I didn't. Well, I did. I didn't do like hot wings, but I did try them all in a row. And the first like 5 are not much to them, and then the last one is spicy, but it's really not. as bad as you would expect for like this supposed to be like the hottest sauce in the world. Like it was not that bad.
All right. Paul, hot sauce opinions? No? Yes? Maybe so?
I don't have a particular favorite one,
Okay.
but I'm going anything local, whether it's
Yeah.
hot sauce or
Yeah.
like Cajun seasoning, anything like that. It's got to be
Absolutely.
local.
Absolutely. A lot of food questions. Favorite po' boy? Ask us favorite
I mean,
po'
are we
boy?
just talking about the style or like from where? I would say, I mean, for the style, I would probably say like fried shrimp. I mean, the shrimp po' boy is just probably my favorite.
Yeah, I was gonna go catfish. I'm not a big po' boy. I actually really don't like po' boys that much. I know
Oh.
that's I know.
Yeah, I mean it's okay. I mean, you know.
It's a lot of bread. I just
It is.
it's not my favorite thing in the world.
I like the soft bread. I don't like the crunchy.
Yeah,
bread.
I don't want the crunchy. I definitely don't want the crunchy. I need the bread to be a little bit, a little bit softer.
I would go fried catfish though.
Yeah,
for sure.
and-
Definitely
and-
a seafood.
Yeah, and sometimes like if I get one and it's a lot like the bread to the the actual like inside of it, if the ratio is really bad, I'll just like rip off a bunch of the bread and like to where it's not, because sometimes when you take that first bite and it's just like all this bread, it gets a little excessive.
Yeah,
it can be like that.
It feels like you're only eating bread. Depending on what the po' boy is, like what you have on it. It just feels like that. Dustin B says, ask Beck why Arsenal never wins any silverware in Europe.
Yeah, okay. I know Dustin B is a Chelsea fan. They won a Mickey Mouse trophy this year.
Oh.
It was the basically there's like the Champions League, which is like the top trophy that you can win, which has all the best teams in the world playing it. Then you have the second level, which is called the Europa League, and that's the teams that can't make it in the Champions League. Then below that, you have the Europa Conference League, which is what Chelsea won. So they have to claim that they won a trophy, but it's like the dumbest trophy in the world because the teams that play in it are all like really bad, and Chelsea just played in it because they were really bad in the Premier League. So yes, I'll take that ribbing. The Arsenal hasn't won any trophies in a while, but they're still really good and finished higher in the Premier League than Chelsea did. So
a win is a win, Beck. Nobody remembers who you beat. They remember you holding the trophy and hanging the banner.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Ask us favorite roller coaster ride. I hate roller coasters, so no, I absolutely hate them. I am not an amusement park guy.
I am not
at all.
I did not like roller coasters as a kid, and people would like make me ride them, and like if somebody made me do it, I would do it, and I would somewhat enjoy them. They're not my favorite thing in the world, but I don't know what my favorite would be. I don't know, like something maybe at Disney. I think the Mount Everest one's really cool.
I mean, if I had to pick one, I'd go Space Mountain because it's
a classic,
and it's all in the dark, and it's fine.
I hated it because I'm really tall, and I always felt like I was going to hit my head on something in there because it's dark and you can't see anything, and you see all these flashing lights going by you, and I just felt like I needed to duck down even lower than I was because I felt like, I'm getting my head taken off by something in here. So I don't like Space Mountain very much.
Yeah, I just don't like roller coasters. I think they're.
It's been so long since I've ridden one. I couldn't name one. I like them. I just don't know any of the names.
Paul, I don't believe that you like them if you haven't been on one in that long.
I just haven't been to an amusement park.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that'll change pretty soon here though with
I'm sure we'll hit Disney in the next couple of years.
Oh yeah, with Opal for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm much more of a water park guy. Like I'd prefer water slides, but also the ones that are like enclosed that you go down in a raft. Like I don't really want to just go down the one where if I lean forward I might die. That sounds horrible. But amusement parks, man, they don't
I haven't been to Six Flags since middle school.
Yeah.
I just don't know any roller coaster names.
Yeah. I think roller coasters are overrated.
Ask Musso number of times Red Sox have finished behind the Yankees this century.
Don't know, but they do have more World Series titles since 2000. There you go. Like I told you, Beck, no one remembers who you beat.
Yep.
They remember holding the trophy and hanging the banner. That's it. They don't remember where you finished in 2016. Not important. Winning the trophy and holding the banner. Hanging the banner and holding the trophy. That's what folks remember. All right, that's going to do it for us. Appreciate all the questions. Appreciate everybody hanging out today. Thank you to Beck. Thank you to Paul. Thank you to all of you. Great show, man. And we'll be here to close out your 4th of July week tomorrow on Thursday's AFR, my last day in the host chair. And then Matt is back on Monday. Stay tuned for more AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. The Louisiana legislature is in session, and there's actually a bill right now that would eliminate door knockers in Louisiana. It would make it illegal for roofing companies to go door-to-door knocking to solicit business. As members of the Louisiana Roofing Contractors Association at Parish Construction and Roofing, we wholeheartedly endorse that legislation because we will never door knock. That's also such a way that some of the less reputable companies get around and take advantage of people. And we hear about it every year during storms. And you have out-of-town companies come in. If you need a roof repair, replacement, you got an issue, ignore the door knockers and call a reputable company that's been in the community, that's community-related, community-based. We'd love it if you give us the opportunity to earn your business. We're never coming to knock on your door. When you're ready and you want to give us a shout, we'd be more than happy to help in every way that we can. Go to the homepage of our website. You see a testimonial from Coach Kim Mulkey right there. We've done work for Coach. Do business with someone you know. Coach Mulkey did. We'd love to help.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.